Musicals with cheese.
Hello, I'm Jesse McAnally.
And I'm Andrew DeWolf.
And I'm Brianna Jones.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew and Bree to like musical theater. And how are you guys doing today?
You know, playing with the magic flute.
That means a penis. That's a penis.
Wow, Andrew.
All right, that's the episode, fellas. We'll see you later.
We did the
Thanks
one
for listening
joke.
this week.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye, everybody.
Da 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 ya da 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 ya. Musicals with cheese.
No. We got to put a little bit more into that. So this week, by Patreon request, we are talking about Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's A Magic Flute. Cue the music, Bree. The Magic Flute, or as it is called in German, hey, you German and European fans, get ready for me to say a bunch of German words wrong. I'm not going to try to get it beforehand. I'm not going to have a translator say it. I'm just going to raw dog this. Die Zauberflöte was written by Emanuel Schikaneder, who did the libretto, and Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, who wrote the score. The opera was premiered in Vienna on September 30th, 1791 at the suburban Freihaus Theater. Mozart conducted the orchestra. Schikaneder himself played Papageno, while The Queen of the Night was sung by Mozart's sister-in-law, Josepha Hofer. He specifically wrote it to her vocal range, which could jump between like octaves very quickly from low to high and high to low, which is the reason why the role was written that way, as well as Papageno was written that way to suit Schikaneder. I'm gonna call you Schikaneder. Don't correct me. I'm not going to care. This would be Mozart's final opera, for he would die a mere 3 months after the premiere in December of 1791. He was so connected to his sister-in-law's voice that on his deathbed, delirious, he said, "Listen to her, listen to Josephine, hit that high F." So he was really taken with this specific piece, and nepotism leads to art, is all we know. So, the plot of The Magic Flute is, it is a fairy tale of darkness, light, and finding your way in the world. It takes form of a Spingspiel, which means it includes singing and spoken dialogue. You know, a bit like a musical. The story opens in the middle of the action. Tamino, a prince lost in a foreign land, is being pursued by an enormous monster. Sometimes it's a snake, sometimes it's other things. He is rescued by 3 mysterious ladies, it's always 3 in this musical, who kill the monster and give Tamino a picture of Pamina, a daughter of the Queen of the Night, with whom he falls in love with instantly. They tell him that Pamina has been captured by the powerful and evil Sarastro, and Tamino vows to rescue her. He also picks up a good friend that's also maybe a bird, it depends on how you view it, but with the gift of the magic flute and some magic bells, and the assistance of the bird catcher, Papageno, yeah, who has become... Papageno? I think it's Papageno.
It is Papageno.
I think it's Papageno.
Papageno is a pizza restaurant in Massachusetts. It's a chain. It's a chain.
Someone please just like edit that, please, to make Papageno. So Tamino sets off on his quest. However, he soon discovers that nothing, not even day and night, is quite as it first appears. All right, so something I discovered while taking this on as a Patreon request is the magic flute is not always the magic flute. Sometimes it's the magic flute in space. Sometimes it's the magic flute in World War I. Sometimes it's the magic flute in a hotel with chefs. I didn't know that before I gave Andrew the file, so I very much
to see the chef one.
I very much want to see Andrew's interpretation of what the plot of the magic flute is.
Bro, I have no fucking clue. I'm gonna be straight with you. This is the first time I have actually no idea what happened. I don't even know who the main character really was, like what his goals were. I don't
Tamino,
know
the
if he
prince,
accomplished the
he's in
goal.
love with the girl.
I feel like at the end he got the girl, but I
Yes, he
honestly
did.
don't know. There was like big robots that showed up at some point. I don't know what was the deal with them. I don't know who the chefs are. I think they want to kill the bird. I'm not actually sure. I have no idea. I don't know what happened in this fucking show.
Okay.
The music was really good though.
The music is very good. So we are recording this the day that our Pirates of Penzance episode posted, and it's doing
Opera
very
with
well.
cheese.
For the moment, it is opera with cheese. I do want to say there have been a lot of good responses defining the difference between opera and musicals, because I know we've gone into this a lot.
Yes.
So,
It's a lively debate, one we should dedicate our entire podcast to.
no, I think this is going to be the end of it. So,
Yeah, they're different, right?
kind of, but not really.
I don't know.
is the final definition. So
They're
I heard
different, but they're also not really that different.
A musical can be an opera, but an opera can't be a musical, right? Something along those lines.
something along those lines.
I don't, maybe.
Okay, so here's one definition, and this one is from the wonderful Emily Blakowski Malik. They actually questioned the director of the Michigan Opera Theater. The difference is all about staging, allegedly. The performers in musical theaters don't like sing to each other, where performers in operas stand near the front of the stage and sing to the audience. And others have defined it in the same way, which is operas, their main focus is the music first, and they don't really care about the story, the libretto, the lyrics. It is all music, and you just kind of let it wash over you. Where a musical, you actually take in what the story is. So those are the main differences, which I guess that defines it all right.
I mean, that tracks onto this if we're going to go with that, because, like, I don't think they gave a shit if we understood what happened in this. I'm going to be real.
So, Andrew, I watched 4 versions of the Magic Flute today.
Where did you even find that time? That's like 12 hours.
Y'all, I knew I wanted to see the differences. I knew I wanted to embrace it.
Well, you must know what happens in the Magic Flute.
I do now. I am very grateful. I think I started it on the best foot forward, which was the BBC did a 30-minute interpretation of it, where they just tell the story through animation. Beautiful animation, really well done animation. It was done in 1995. They truncate it to like only the best moments, and they kind of just they're speeding it through. Like the dialogue is said very fast so we can get to the next part. And they tell the story very concisely in 30 minutes, hitting every single bullet point of the story. And that's what I started with. That was how I started my day. Then I moved on because I'm like, that is going to be a straight, direct narrative of the story where I will at least get the bullet points. So in 2006, Kenneth Branagh did a film adaptation of The Magic Flute in English with a translation by Stephen Fry, who is very good. And Kenneth Branagh is one of those directors who I think makes movies only for himself.
You're like easing into it here.
I did. And this specific one, he had set in World War I. So they are in like the war zone and they bump into each other. And instead of like a lock on Papageno's mouth, they put a gas mask on him. It's a very probably the most visually intriguing movie of an opera I've ever seen. Like I know you and I watched La Boheme, and that was just kind of like, they're singing. We're doing it.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. They didn't shy away from the magical aspects, but it does a very good job at telling the story. Then I watched that to the point that Act 1 ends. So I saw where Act 1 ends. Then I popped in the Julie Taymor version, which is a more straight up one. And I watched the first half of Act 2 of hers, and I'm like, I get where this is going. And then I watched all the way to the end with the Ingmar Bergman film from the 70s. And I capped it off with that.
Did you even watch the one that I watched?
I did not. I skimmed it.
Damn, we can't even talk about the giant robots, which
No,
is cool.
I really just want to hear like your interpretation. Like, how did they do the serpent for you? Like the big monster that they have to fight at the beginning.
Oh my goodness, all the way back at the beginning. I don't think they show anything. I'm pretty sure it's like just implied that he's in danger.
Okay, because that's
But
one of
I
the
don't remember.
more wild things. Like, I feel like most people with money to stage it, that's like your big, like, we're starting out big, and then we're going to sing a bunch, and then we might end big.
Honestly, let me just pull it up really quick so I can remember.
How about while you do that, I try to explain what I think the story of the Magic Flute is.
Yeah, go ahead. I think you probably actually understand the story, whereas I literally don't.
Well, I want to see how I want you to keep up and ask questions as I go. So we start off with this prince. And he's in the middle of nowhere, and a serpent monster thing. Sometimes it's a snake, sometimes it's a ball of gas, sometimes it's anything. But definitely a monster comes to attack him. He freaks out, and then he's at death's door, and then 3 women save him and kill the monster. And they're like,
Oh wait, I went back. It was like a little puppet that flies around for like it's only on screen for like or on stage for like a minute, so I forgot about it. But they do have like a puppet that goes
That's
around.
fair. And so 3 ladies, and in the World War II one, they're like nurses and like nun nurses, but when they see that it's the prince and he's hot, they rip open their chest and they show their cleavage to show that they're horny for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, he's so hot. Let's go get our boss, the queen of the night, and then she can talk to him. And so they go to, after saving him, they go to find their boss. And then the prince wakes up and sees Papageno, who's this bird man. He either meaning he takes care of birds or he is part bird. He definitely has a connection to birds.
Yeah, I remember that because Papageno in the one that I saw is wearing a suit that has like a duck back.
I have a hen ass attached to me.
It's kind of just like, I couldn't quite figure out what was supposed to be going on with that, but I just kind of figured, well, he's like a duck.
Yeah. He takes care of the birds, allegedly.
He's a bird person.
Yeah, both in the literal sometimes and the metaphorical sense. And the prince thinks that the bird person saved him. And the bird person's like, oh yeah, I totally did. Yeah, I kicked his ass. And the 3 ladies are like, no, you didn't, you lying liar. And they like lock his mouth so he can't tell lies anymore.
The one I saw, they literally put an entire cage over his head.
That's funny because he's a bird.
I guess.
I think that's fun. That's a good artistic choice. I'm into that. So the 3 ladies bring the Queen of the Dark. Oh no, the ladies show him a picture of the princess, the daughter of the Queen of the Dark, and he's immediately in love. He's like, oh my god, look how hot she is. She's so hot. Me love awooga.
Yeah.
And the Queen of the Dark comes in. She's like, oh my god, my daughter was kidnapped by this evil man, this evil wizard guy who's the king of the light.
Bowser.
My daughter was kidnapped by Bowser. If you save her, I will let you marry him, even though she should probably have a say here, but nah, she's not allowed to have a say.
Okay. I just got a great idea for like a Mario adaptation of this, but
I think there is a Mario adaptation of the Magic Flute. I sincerely do believe that exists.
There is a magic flute item in the Mario games. So.
Yeah, I think sincerely there is a musical version or like a proper stage. Brie, look that up. I think I might be pulling that on my ass, but I'm almost 100% sure that exists.
Mario and Luigi.
It would be, yeah, literally it's Mario and Luigi, Papageno. Papageno!
Okay, keep going.
So
You're right, there is.
show Andrew, what's it look like?
I'm going to send you the link. There's a whole article on it.
Why didn't you have me watch this one?
I don't think I'd be able to get it, to be honest.
Imagine going to the opera and you're seeing the Mario one.
You don't tell your grandma. We're just going to see the Magic Flute. Come on, Grandma.
I'm at the opera right now.
Oh my god, please scroll through the photos.
Oh my lord.
Look up the Super Mario Magic Flute. Why
didn't we watch this? This looks amazing. Oh, this looks fantastic. We should have watched this. Oh, that would have been great.
Yeah. It is a good adaptation, though.
I found it. I'll send it to you guys so you can watch it.
All right, kids, if you're watching your first version of the Magic Flute, make it. Once again, this goes back to the saying, there's no normal version of the Magic Flute anymore. It's always like a weird fucking wild ass version.
Is that Zelda?
Oh, yeah, why is Zelda in this? Okay, we can't do
Zelda
this.
is in this. What's he doing here?
This is incredible.
Yeah, this is pretty impressive.
This is better than the Mario movie.
Yeah, this is gonna be better than the Chris Pratt Mario movie.
This is like the actual adaptation of Mario. Okay, keep going. We gotta keep going.
Okay.
We were at, like, he put the cage over his head and then they gave him a picture.
Okay, no. She promises her daughter to him if she saves him, even though no consent from her. And then him and Papageno go off. She gives him a magic flute. She gives Papageno magic bells. Off they go. Somehow, just just in the next scene, Papageno's just already with the princess, already in the same room with her. Oh, also,
Just Papageno, not the other guy?
no, not the other guy, because the other guy was given 3 children to lead him through the right way, with 3 truths that he has to go by. So the prince
But
goes off with the 3 boys.
What?
Yes, okay.
I'm just immediately lost. This is why I couldn't follow this shit.
Yes. The prince goes off with the 3 boys. Papageno shows up to the princess.
Why didn't they go together?
I don't. I'm relaying the story. I know this well enough to know what happens.
You're
My head is
lying.
spinning.
He doesn't you don't understand
No,
what's happening.
I understand this. I
So-
spent a lot of time to understand this.
The prince went off with 3 little boys to lead to the princess, and Papageno just
No,
fucking guessed
to lead
and made
to
it there the next day.
No, it's not even the next day. It looks like the same day.
He's like, 3 doors off. There she is. She's in her bedroom. She wasn't kidnapped at all.
But Papageno shows up and I forget what's the sun god's name? Oh, Sarastros or something like that.
Sarastra or something. Hang on.
Bree,
We
be
have
ready
it
with
written
those
down.
pronunciation corrections because I'm gonna get them all
We have
wrong.
it written down.
You think I can pronounce words?
Isn't that the joke of Bree views?
Sarastro.
Sarastros. So one of his men is trying to rape the princess at first, which is just
Classy.
not cool. So most adaptations just cut that part out. So Papageno shows up and he's like, "I'm here to take you to your true love, the prince." And she's like, "I love him." And then Papageno, yep. And Papageno's like, it would be great if I had a true love. And they sing a whole aria duet about how great love is, and she basically friend zones him, and he is the ultimate incel for the rest of the story. He has one character trait: he wants to get married.
And he can't because he's a duck.
Yes. So
What the fuck is... This is already completely off the walls storytelling
okay,
wise.
I need to fast forward this. There's a lot more story to get through here.
Okay, keep going.
So Papageno and the princess go off. The prince goes with the 3 boys and finds a servant to Sarastros, and he's like, "I need to defeat the evil man." He's like, "He's not an evil man. He's a nice guy. He's a nice fella." And he's like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm sure. He's the god of the sun." Then he shows up and he's like, "I'm a real nice fella." And then they're like, "Oh, we were tricked. We were tricked by the evil queen, who we discover now is evil, apparently." And the king of the sun is like, "Hey, I just kidnapped you," because now the princess is here with Papageno. I'm skipping
I'm so
stuff.
tired of these twist villains. It's getting ridiculous.
The sun god says, "I kidnapped you to hide you from your mother's dark ways." Okay. And yeah, you're free to leave if you want. You're not kidnapped. I just want to save
You
you.
could have left whatever you want.
He kind of was like that.
But also, one of my men was doing
Yes.
stuff with you earlier, so...
We don't bring that up again. It's literally the big lipped alligator moment of this story.
Oh my god.
And in this moment, the prince and the princess meet for the first time, and they're like, "Oh, love's great, guys."
Okay.
And then the Sun King is like, "You must do a bunch of tasks to prove that you love her, and then you're allowed to get married." All right. And he
Yep.
says, "Papageno, if you do these tasks, you will get yourself a bride because you have one character trait, and that's to be an incel."
So he's gonna fail all the tasks, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you're
'Cause
not wrong.
He is the funny character.
Yeah. So, but we're getting into sitcom territory. So the queen, the evil queen, comes, sings the aria we all know that got sent into space at
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
yeah, that one, and says, "Hey, you have to go murder the sun god now." And she gives her a knife. And
Good
then
stuff.
she's just goes to the sun god. She's like, I was told to kill you, and I'm sorry." And he's like, "It's all good, bro. It's all good." It literally is just like, "Man, there ain't no thing. I get it."
Just do what you gotta do. We're all trying to get by.
Meanwhile, the prince is in the tasks, but he is told he has to be silent. He can't speak. But then the princess comes up to him, and he doesn't talk to her. So she thinks he's no longer in love with her. So she threatens to kill herself.
Just you can't tell me that I could have ever followed this. There's no world where I watched this one time and understand what was happening.
Meanwhile, Papageno's in that task where he has to be in love, or sorry, be quiet, and a woman says like, "Oh yeah, I'm in love with you," but then she turns into an old lady, and now he's forced to marry her, and then he
It's
just
just
fails.
like The Shining.
Yeah, he fails. We're gonna speed this up because I feel like I'm taking a while.
Okay, so then there's another task. They do all the trials.
Okay. He admits to like the princess, like, "Hey, it was just a part of the task," and then she's basically like, "Let's do the rest of the tasks together." And he plays the magic flute to get through the rest of it, and they do. And because the flute in their love, and then they're allowed to go and be together. And also, Papageno's given a twin of himself that is a female to have sex with, and they all live happily ever after.
Okay, so when do the giant robots show up?
I don't know when that happened in your version.
Where is the
it-
flute?
The flute is with the guy, and he uses it to
the
complete
prince.
the tasks.
Yeah, he uses it to
Okay.
complete the task at the end.
The magic bells are not used.
They're used a
Okay.
couple times. They were
I did
used
not
like
hear anything about the flute, so I had to ask.
yeah, it's used a couple times, but the bells were used to try to, because the flute turns you from sad to happy, and the bells just kind of like distract and make you feel good. And he uses the bells to help get the princess out, but that didn't feel important to bring up.
Oh, okay.
But they're both used.
Okay, good.
So, any questions? I did broad strokes because it's 3 hours long and I had to just hit the main things.
Yeah, so when did they invent conventional storytelling? Was that like in the 1800s, maybe?
This is a fairy tale. And how about I talk to you? What do you want? It's a fairy tale.
It's not a fairy tale. It's nonsense. What is the moral of the story? If it's a
It's
fairy
about
tale.
love. Becoming a better person and overcoming trials.
Yeah.
And also Freemasonry.
Oh, Freemasonry. What do we
Yes.
got?
So,
I'm interested in that. Some eyes wide shut type shit.
yes, can you explain to me what Freemasonry really is, though? Because I don't understand what it is.
Yeah, so Freemasonry is it's like a group where you go and you meet up and it's just a bunch of dudes hanging out. And honestly, that's kind of all it is at this point. I don't know what it was back in the 1700s, but nowadays it's literally just like it's a boys club. That's about it. I got a friend who does it.
That's weird. So it's about Freemasonry that apparently has a connection to it. It's influenced by Enlightenment philosophy and can be regarded as advocating enlightened absolutism. The Queen of the Night is seen by those to represent a dangerous form of obscurantism, and by others to represent the Roman Catholic Empress Maria Theresa, who banned Freemasonry from Austria. Others see the Roman Catholic Church itself, which was strongly against Masonry.
I'm gonna need some like citations on how this works. Like,
This is-
where are we getting this?
This has been said a lot of places. I don't understand Freemasonry, so I just kind of was putting it. But apparently there's a lot of connections like between Freemasonry and the Catholic Church, and the way that he uses threes, like the three boys, the three girls, the thirds in which the music's used.
So Freemasonry back in the day, I think, was more like cryptic, and it was like it was more religious, or maybe not even religious, like philosophical. Like it was like an Enlightenment movement. I think like it wasn't like Ben Franklin and a lot of those people.
George Washington, Mark Twain, and Mozart were master masons.
Yeah, so it was like an Enlightenment movement. Nowadays, I don't think they do anything really other than just drink and fuck around. But probably back then it was a bigger deal. But where the fuck is this? Like, how do you interpret this? Because
Okay.
Because the
So I'm
the
gonna
Queen
cite
of the Night was bad. It was things that they don't like. Like I don't know.
Okay. There is an entire breakdown of this on medium.com. So the trials are
Lord.
specifically the symbols particularly prominent in the magic flute is 3. 3 is an important symbol to the Freemasons that represents the balance and order. The 3 ladies, the 3 trials, the 3 spirits, the 3 doors, and much of the music is composed in an E flat major that has 3 flats and a key signature. So that is one it's tied to.
Okay.
It's an allegorical tale aligned with free thinking and enlightenment. Why a magic flute? A common Masonic theme is that music has the power to transcend human fear and hatred. So the moral of the story is that through the Masonic order and guided by the beauty of music, society's enlightened men and women equally.
Okay. I mean, I can buy it. Honestly, I can't tell what's happening in the story, so like I really can't judge how the themes
Well,
of
that's
it.
opera for you, as we've
Yeah.
now discovered.
This is like a real opera, though. It's not like the Pirates of Penzance or whatever. This is the legit shit right here. This is Mozart.
Yeah, but
You know?
strangely, it has a more musical theater vibe. Like, they stop to have dialogue and conversations and all that. It is not just sung through beginning to end.
Maybe that's because he really wanted to get this Masonic message out there.
I mean, maybe. And this is one of those things where, like, I expected it to be based on, like, a different, like, a fairy tale that it already existed, you know, like Faust or something. But no,
Yeah.
this is, like, a wholesale original story. It's maybe that's the reason why it feels so, like, no one knows what they're talking about.
It just seems scattershot. Like you set up this big quest and then immediately resolve it. And then the person who gave the quest is now the bad guy and there's just trials you have to do. Like, what the fuck? What is happening? You know?
I mean, I understand, like, from a modern, like, standing, it's probably very, very difficult. I put the work in, though. I put the work in, and I'm sure some
did.
people will be like, hey, you don't think
I
you
was-
really understood what you was talking about.
I definitely don't. If anyone says that about me, they're correct. I watched a version that I'm pretty sure is in German with subtitles. They're in a hotel.
Please try to describe what happens in your version, please.
They're in a hotel. There's chefs. I think the chefs are supposed to be the sun, like the day people. And then the queen of the night is just a lady. There's big robots that show up only at the very, like, near the end. I don't know where those fit in. It really doesn't make any fucking sense.
I want to see these.
I don't know.
I'm going to look for these big robots now. Like, they explained it at the beginning,
Let
because
me see
I
if I can
saw
find 'em.
a little bit at the beginning where they're like, we are doing this in a hotel this time around.
Yeah, they spend most of the time in the kitchen. There's a lot of chefs. Like, a lot of chefs. Let me see if I can find the giant robots so you can see them.
Like, I
think
don't
they're actually, like, very close to the end.
Like, I feel like maybe there's a part in the magic flute that I'm missing at the end where it makes sense for magic robots to pop up, but I don't think so.
2 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay, so...
Maybe it's just like one of the trials.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh, it's like you have to be purified by fire with... Okay.
It's cool. I mean, I
Yeah.
like that they have
Visually,
the
it
big
looks
robots.
cool.
I don't know what the fuck's happening though.
Oh.
Yeah, this is one of the trials for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, these are the priests
Oh, the priests? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
that are letting him know the final, like, okay, this makes sense. I mean, as much as this story can make sense, this makes sense. I feel like I feel like I'm just trying to explain a dream that happened 1,000 years ago.
So, we got to talk about opera for a sec, you know?
Yeah, let's go.
Do opera fans care about the story? Like, at all?
Is it one of those things
Like,
where
is
it's
all
like,
of this, is it all just kind of like the directors like jerking themselves off, even bothering with costumes and staging and giant robot puppets and all that? Like, are the people watching, do they have any fucking clue what's happening?
they do because they've seen this 500 times at this point.
Yeah, because they only stage like the same couple operas over and over again. They don't ever show anything new.
I mean, when's the last recent opera like done it? Like, I mean, I made one once, but that
I
don't
think people
count.
write operas all the time. They just never see the light of day because nobody gives a fuck about opera anymore unless
They
it's,
don't give a fuck
unless
about
it's
opera.
Mozart.
Yeah, unless it was like Puccini or Mozart or any of those.
Yeah.
Well, who cares what we say? Let's compare our opinions to those of the critics when this first came out. It's time for previews.
It's time for previews. It's time for previews.
All right, Bree, we've got a little bit of a little piece of what people thought of this in the 1700s.
Yes, we do. Okay.
Jesus Christ, you found something from the 1790s?
I'll tell you what it said. So, although there were no reviews of the first performances, it was immediately evident that Mozart and Chikander had achieved a great success, the opera drawing immense crowds and reaching hundreds of performances during the 1970s. As Mozart's letters show,
1790s.
he was long time ago. As Mozart's letters show, he was very pleased to have achieved such a success. Solomon continues. Mozart's delight is reflected in his last 3 letters, written to Constance, who, with her sister Sophie, was spending the second week of October in Baden. I have this moment returned from the opera, which was as full as ever. He wrote on 7 October, listing the numbers that had to be encored. But what always gives me the most pleasure is the silent approval. You can see how this opera is becoming more and more esteemed. He went to hear his opera almost every night, taking along friends and relatives.
Yeah.
Wait, they used to encore songs at the opera?
Yeah. What else are you going to do with your day?
That just seems so cool. I feel like classical music gets this rep of being stuffy and boring and like for like people that don't have any fun ever, but like back when this stuff was first coming out, it was like a rock concert, you know? Like people love this shit.
I mean, yeah. And they knew all the intricacies and they kind of knew the story going in. So I remember in the film Amadeus, they really were tying this into his death. So there's like a part where he's like conducting and playing music for this show and then just passing out, which didn't happen. That movie also says a lot of things that aren't true, but it's a good movie. It doesn't have to be factually accurate to be a good movie.
No, just don't use it as a historical resource.
No, and I don't think the writers would ever say you should. They're like, we're just trying to make entertainment with Mozart music. Fuck it.
Mozart's life was probably not that exciting, honestly.
The most exciting thing was just the weird letters he would write and talking about poop.
Yeah, but who hasn't done that?
Yeah, I'm really interested to see if folks will use our podcast to say like how we lived once we become big and famous and important after we die.
It's true. We might.
Yes. All right, it's time to go on to the second part of Bree Views, the Letterbox game. 1 star, 5 stars. Bree, you're head to head with Andrew. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Andrew, are you ready?
Yeah.
You got annihilated last time, so...
Yeah, we'll see.
For those of you who have not come here before to the Cheese House, this game is played. I am going to read a review, and only the full review, but you have to tell us with only that information whether it was a 1-star review or a 5-star review. They are binaries. It is either a 1-star or a 5-star. There is no in-betweens. All right. Andrew, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
The opera version of Shrek.
I guess in like a very baseline, broad strokes sort of way. Let's see.
I mean,
I'm gonna go with
I get it.
5 stars for that because I mean Shrek.
Yes, it is true, but I actually see it. Like, I didn't see it when I got this review, but I see it now. A guy and his comic relief sidekick have to rescue a princess. Yeah, I see it.
And they were sent to get the princess by someone that they later find out is the bad guy.
Yeah, and it's kind of obvious from the beginning that they're the bad guy, even though they try to play it like a twist.
And the dragon that has kidnapped the princess turns out to not be a bad guy.
Yeah, she sucks the donkey's dick. All right, Bree, you ready?
Yes.
Astounding visuals, great music, and a fun time all around.
5 stars.
That is a 1-star.
Yeah, that was way too obvious. That was
I wanted to give it a 1 star, but I was like, just give it a 5, and then I lost.
All right, Andrew, you ready?
Yeah.
Don't at me. This movie is weird as fuck, and Mozart still slaps. Period. Movie.
God, now that one feels also too obvious, but I'm gonna go with 5 stars anyways.
That's a 1-star. Bree, imagine being alive in the 18th century and having the Queen of Night aria as your lesbian awakening. Oh my god.
5 star.
That is correct. Bree takes the lead. Andrew, you ready?
How did Bree take the lead? Did
I
we
thought
both
we're
have one?
tied.
No, Andrew didn't get the last one.
But didn't he get the first one?
He did. That means you're ahead now, Bree.
But Bree didn't get the first one.
Yes, she did.
No, I didn't.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Sorry. You're tied.
This guy. This guy, he's just out to get me. He doesn't want me to win.
Andrew, are you ready?
Yeah.
The Magic Flute isn't an opera. It's Tangled, done 200 years earlier.
Okay, no, it's not. Get the fuck out of here.
That
That's
one
just
I don't
not
see
true.
as much.
That one's just completely wrong. But they probably like Tangled, so 5 stars.
That is correct. Andrew takes the lead. All right, Bree, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Where is my goth girlfriend that just 1,000 skeletons in a trench coat?
They don't have a goth girlfriend, so that makes me think 1 star.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Andrew, you're up.
Okay.
I DK if this is good or not, but my dad made me watch it a billion times and I don't like my dad very much.
This is another like it feels too obvious, but I'm just gonna go for it 1 star.
That is correct. Bree!
Okay.
It's not cool. but it still hasn't lost its beauty.
Ooh, 5 stars.
That is a 1 star. Andrew, are
I
you
knew
up?
it. I knew it.
Tragedy.
Tragedy. All right, Andrew, you ready?
I'm ready.
So Fire, they randomly decided to show this at the theater next to my apartment. WTF?
So Fire, they randomly decided to show. Am I reading that correctly?
I think so. There's no comma. It's all one run-on sentence with no period.
5 stars. 5 stars.
That is correct.
No, I'm gonna lose.
Yeah, he's killing you this time. Bree, you ready?
I talk shit. Now I'm losing.
You can
I
take
am
this back,
ready.
maybe. I'm Mozart's bitch now.
That doesn't sound very good. 1 star.
That's a 5 star.
God
Come
damn it.
on, you
okay,
want to be Mozart's
let him
bitch.
win.
Come on, you want
Do
that.
you? Why?
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Want him to write me his shit haikus. All right, Andrew, you ready?
I'm ready.
I can't believe the same dude that directed Thor, LOL.
What? I can't believe the dude that directed Thor, LOL. Is that what it...
Yeah, because this is the same director, Kenneth Branagh, who did the 2006 version, directed the first Thor movie.
Okay. Honestly, it was probably better than that first Thor movie.
It was. Significantly, he knew how to direct opera and Shakespeare better than the Thor movie.
Okay. 5 stars. 5 stars.
That is correct.
I'm just feeling it today. I'm just in it with the 1 star, 5 star.
Yeah, sometimes you connect.
Yeah.
She'll get it for the next episode, probably.
Maybe. I feel
All right.
so defeated.
You ready, Bree?
I
One
am.
more for each of you.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
This is that shit right here, mate.
5 stars.
That is correct. Bree. Andrew.
Yay!
Yep.
Netflix Blu-ray.
Okay. I mean, there's not a lot to go on there.
Maybe they got it on a Netflix Blu-ray.
Yeah, I
When
think-
I'm gonna
Netflix
give
was
it-
still sending out.
I'm going to give it 1
DVD.
star because that's got to be a bad experience.
That is correct. And Andrew, by a long shot, you have 1 reviews today.
Go, Andrew! I'm
was
so
just
proud
in
of
it.
you.
I'm not usually in it like that, but I was just feeling it today, I guess.
You should go play like a scratchy lottery.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll win something.
Go play the scratchy
some-
lottery or people who eat too much birthday cake and then throw it up.
Play some
Are you
slots.
quoting John Mulaney? Oh,
No.
yeah, scratchy lottery. Wait.
Yeah, I am. I was about to
Okay,
say,
I
no,
was-
I'm quoting a man that cheated on his wife and impregnated another woman.
He's a horrible, horrible man, but
He will never
Damn
get
it,
another
it's a great-
cent from me.
Dang, he's so funny, though.
that stand-up got me through that specific stand-up got me through a really, really tough time in my life. So
Yeah,
I'm
Louis
thankful for that.
C.K.'s stand-up helped me get through rough times. And you know what? I don't listen to him anymore because he jacked off in front of a bunch of women.
Well, I think that's a lot worse than.
Is he jerking his magic flute?
Oh,
On that
no.
note, let's go into a show. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt you in the middle of the show, but we've got a shill at you. Andrew, tell them a little bit about Patreon, what's going on over there, and a little bit about our merch too.
Yeah, Patreon is where you go if you want to support us and get a little bit extra content in the process. We got video versions of all of our episodes. We got commentary tracks. I mean, we just did Camp Rock 1 and 2.
Yes. And also, I think by the time we do this, we will be doing a special commentary on a Goofy movie featuring Ethan from Sideways.
Oh, yeah? That's going to
That'll
be
be
a
a good
great
time.
one. It'll definitely be better than our Camp Rock 2 one where we just talked about Breaking Bad the entire time.
Here's a fun fact. There's a chance for any patron to make money if they just listen to that commentary. Like, I slid it in there.
Yeah, so you could technically, if you're the lucky one, you could get some Patreon for free, basically. Just listen to that. and
Yeah.
get-
If you
collect
listen
the
to
money.
that. Yeah, collect that money. And also about our merch, Andrew.
Yeah, we got merch as well. I mean, we got t-shirts, we got stickers. What else we have?
We got buttons.
I don't have
I literally have
got
a button
buttons?
right here. Right there.
Yeah, we got some good
BroadwayCon.
stuff. We got some good stuff. Check out our merch. Where's our merch at? I know we have it on
If you
somewhere.
go to musicalswithcheese.com and click merch, you can get there.
Yeah, check that out because we actually have some really good stuff and we don't promote it enough.
Yeah, I honestly think we do pretty good in our merch. I feel like they're high quality, and I tend to make sure that they're at a cheap rate.
I wear my shirt. It's not the one with my face on it because I felt a little too egotistical, but it's what's your cheese rating? You know, that's a good one.
That is honestly probably my favorite design of our shirts. I think of all of our merch, that's probably my favorite piece.
My favorite is my hoodie.
Yeah, we need to get you another hoodie.
She ruined the last one.
Did she? What?
What did I do?
No,
I
I'm just making stuff up for a fun story. I don't know.
I'm just saying shit. This is a podcast. It's not for...
Honestly, though, I think when we did our headshots or our photos, I think I left it in your car, Jess.
Oh, maybe. I might need to get that back to
Damn,
you.
that was so long ago.
Yeah.
Long ago, it seems so long ago, how young and innocent we were.
Okay.
Also,
Someone's gonna read these names.
If you're on Patreon, you get a discount on all merch. I feel like I don't promote this enough. You do get a discount on merch at a certain level. So it all ties back together.
Doubly worth it. And who's supporting us, Jess?
Our current patrons are Melissa Goldman, Leighton Ackles, Danielle Renix, Jessica Stampede, Ewan Cassidy, Monica Thoreau, Mina Maneri, Brent Black, Leith Diana, Stacey Coombe, Joseph Evans Green, Mary Lou Show, Kat John Van Nels, Russ Walker, Musical, Hell, Kyle Summers, Emily Gracie, Jen AC, Scoot and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Liz Lim, Allison Stoller, Nothing is Certain Except Bath and Taxes, Thespian, Ren Cullen, Rafael Martinez Salaz, Jessica T, Mitchell Young, Chai Teacup, Katie McDonough, Timothy Keys, Chris Marcotte, Mimu, Kiji, Marie Anastasio, Layla RJ Narija, Charlie B, Patrick Deering, Avery Brinston, Bjorn Hermans, Erica S, Tariana Frazier, Sammy the Most Lopez, Liana Morton, Angela, Kaylee Blazier, Birdman 69, Cinemageddon Reviews, Villainous Miss Sophiana Ali, The Omega Key, Katrina Evans, Paige Pearson, Maddie Morgul, Elisa Erdman, Anna Loskotova, Jessica Viray, Sarah Den Bleeker, Jess Gray, Jamila M. Brown, Evan Ball, Wayne Cruz, Adam Hunt, and Zachary Torres. They all give us a little extra financial support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musical Sushi. If you would like to support them, we get tons of fun perks such as Patreon-only commentaries, our episodes a day early, or even earlier. Come join us over at Patreon. Also, as we do, we are reading all of our reviews that we get in the future and emails. We got this very nice email just this morning, and I wanted to read it. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is from Janine. They say, "Hello, Musicals with Cheese. I'm always late to the game. I only started listening to the podcast this week, and one of the first searches was for Broadway stuff. When your podcast came up, my first thought was, let me listen to the Dear Evan Hansen episode. Let's see if those guys have anything to say about this musical. Then this podcast, if they have anything good to say about this musical, this podcast is not for me. I was so gratified to hear the venom that you spewed at this garbage musical. I am now a subscriber. And then to think of everything that befell Great Comet. I still have trouble listening to anything that Cynthia Erivo is on, just because of her role of getting Great Comet to close. It doesn't matter that she sings like a damn angel. Anyway, keep up the good work, Janine."
Yeah, I mean,
thank you, Janine.
If we want to be known for anything, it's the Dear Evan Hansen hatred.
I will
that
say,
shit deserves it.
I don't want to jerk ourselves off too much. I don't want to break my arm jerking ourselves off. But we kind of did that before it was cool to do that. We were kind of on that train back when it was kind of an edgier thing to talk about.
Well, it became cool to hate it when the movie came out, I think.
Yeah. But I remember when we first posted that episode, we got a lot of pushback. A lot of people really did not like what we had to say. It was like every other day, it was just another message telling us to kill ourselves because of it.
And we didn't listen.
Yeah, we kept, nevertheless, we persisted.
We kept hating it.
Say what you will, our opinions have not changed on most of our ideas. Except Rent. Sometimes. I feel like we did Rent dirty, and I feel like we need to redo our Hedwig episode sometime in the future. Maybe with a special guest if we can get
I still don't like Rent, but maybe we're too harsh. Anyways,
I think we just didn't. We didn't put the context in. Either way, let's get back to the magic flute. Louis C.K.'s magic flute.
Yes. So operas are weird, and there isn't really songs.
No, there isn't. There are moments that feel like songs, if that makes sense. Like the opening number where the prince is being attacked by this serpent monster. It feels epic. It represents what's going on properly.
Yes, but is it a song?
I don't think any of them are songs, really. There are arias in here, though. There are proper arias and proper duets. And it does push story forward. Like, they aren't just singing until they're done and then moving on with the plot.
Yeah.
I don't know. You didn't particularly latch onto the story, but you said you really dug the music.
It's just kind of like 3 hours of just, good classical music. And then of course you have the one part that everyone knows.
Well, the one part that was
Queen of the
sent into
Night song.
space. Yeah, let's talk about that. I
think that's the song that everyone wants us to say something about, because if anyone's heard of the Magic Flute, well, they may have even heard of this song and not even know what it's from, honestly.
Yeah, I'm pretty, like, if you hear the
I would
English
sing
title...
it, but we can't.
Do you know what the English title is?
No.
Hell's Vengeance Boils in My Heart is the title of that aria.
There's not even really lyrics to most of it. Like, the most famous part is actually just, like, very high-pitch, just sounds, basically. Vocal sounds.
Yeah, like, she'll say, like, I want to burn the world down. And then she does that for about 4 minutes. Like, I want to bring down him.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, but it's really good.
And written for a very specific vocalist. Once again, I know we said this earlier, Mozart wrote this for his sister-in-law, the specific things that he knew her voice could do, which is why it is one of the most difficult things to perform. And imagine how high that you have to sing this song, almost whistle-toning, without a microphone. Microphones did not exist. Shit's wild to me.
It's...
I can understand why this
gotta be
got
a hard
a bunch
one to
of
fucking sing.
encores.
It's gotta be a really tough one to sing consistently, because it's very, very high. And those, like, fast, like, da 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 da, like, that's not easy to do either.
No, even
Especially
just
not in that
a lower
range.
register.
So...
I know, it's like us talking about the Mona Lisa and being like, oh my god, it's actually pretty good, guys. But
guys, look, this one looked like it was pretty hard to paint. I don't know what else to say. I'm not a music critic. Like, I'm not going to be...
We're not that
like
kind of
that.
style. We are taking on the content at face value and embracing the things we latch onto. And like the rest of the world, we latched onto the most iconic, most difficult piece of music, like, maybe ever written in the, like, what is it, 18th century? Late 18th century? Like, I
This
brought this
Mozart guy, I've not heard of him, but he's definitely good at writing music.
up. Too many notes, which is a line from the Amadeus movie.
Yes, notes.
You should watch that movie, Andrew. I think you'd really like it. Like, I like, what else? What other connections to Mozart do you have outside of this? Sincerely,
Really not much.
I'm not even like his Dies Irae, his Requiems, or anything like that.
Oh, I know the songs, but I don't have like a connection to them or anything. You know, it's just the famous classical music, you know? And I probably attributed pieces from like Hide Into Him or something like that, you know? Like, oh, this was Mozart. Oh wait, no, it's not. You know, I'm a plebeian. I'll admit it.
Like, what does that mean to you? What's a plebeian?
Uneducated, unwashed masses, you know? Doesn't know what he's talking about. Just likes the mainstream shit when it comes to that kind of stuff. Refers to all music, orchestra music as classical music because, you know, the classical era is just all of it, right?
Okay, I want to bring this up because knowing you, seeing what you look like, and your vibe on this podcast, one of the most shocking revelations, I think, as we've done 210 episodes of the show roughly at this point, is that you are a big defender of classical music and just like big music in general. You are not like modern is better because you are a very specific kind of guy that wasn't into musical theater before we started this, but also had a deep respect for music.
I think classical music is very good. I think that there is a lot of issues with the community surrounding it, with their worship of very particular pieces and very particular composers and
Yes.
not being willing to look into anything outside of that a lot of times. I don't think it's a coincidence that they're all white men as well.
Yeah.
But, you know. But
I
that
mean-
being said, I think there's a lot of great music in here, and I don't like that classical music is often just a stand-in for this person is a stuffy idiot, you know, in
remember-
modern media.
In our Next to Normal episode, that was like a big sticking point for you, like jazz versus classical music.
Yeah, it's like, well, if you like classical, you're just a stuffy piece of shit, you know? You're like the most boring person ever to exist. It's like, okay, whatever.
I mean, I guess classical music is great to me because it's the one kind of music that doesn't age. Like, this still feels at home with most music today, like the Magic Flute, meaning.
Yeah, I think
And Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical theater ages like fucking milk because he's always trying to fit with like whatever's cool at that moment.
Cats is still using that shitty synthesizer sound that was dated when it came out.
I will say the two musicals that don't use that sound and kind of work and has become timeless is Jesus Christ Superstar and Evita, and maybe a tiny bit Phantom, but that still has a lot of like 80s rock to it that I kind of disregard as like timeless, but still very good. Where Jesus Christ Superstar is dated not because of its music, but because of its lyrics, because it says, "What's the buzz?" 500 times, and that if that doesn't scream 1970s to you, I don't know what does.
Yeah,
On that
I'm-
note,
I'm glad we watched this. It's a, you know, it's a thing. I wish I could understand what the fuck was happening, and I wish I understood opera more, but I just don't.
I wish I had known there was a recording of a Super Mario version before this happened, because I would just 100% would have forced Andrew to watch that. That would have been absolutely
would've-
hilarious.
Maybe been able to figure out what was happening if they were all Mario characters. Maybe. That's still, I'm not sure I would have followed it. I'm still.
I'm immediately confused by the presence of Zelda and Link in it.
It's just, hey, there's Nintendo people. I mean, Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. appear to also be in it.
That's not Donkey Kong Jr., that is Diddy Kong, you fucking uncultured plebe.
I looked at the pictures and I'm seeing Donkey Kong Jr.
I'm watching the video and I am seeing Diddy Kong.
Oh no, they're both there. They're both in it.
Oh!
Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. are in it.
So we're both right.
We're both correct. They're both there.
It bothers me that the three girls are Toad and not the three boys.
Who else do we have in here? We got Mega Man.
Okay. Mario is Papagano, which is weird, and Link is the prince.
Okay, that's interesting.
I think just
I
fat
mean, this is just a
'cause he's
Nintendo
fat.
thing, I think.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing the guy from Contra. It looks like Mega Man, Ryu. This looks like the Street Racer guy, which I don't think that's even from a video game. I don't know. I'm lost a
They
little
made-
bit in as to.
They made the queen of the night the fucking girl Ganondorf.
Girl Ganondorf? Oh no.
I don't know. Like, she looks like Princess Fiona, but I'm pretty sure they're going for girl Ganondorf.
Look, this was a really clever way to trick gamers into watching an opera. But I don't think they'd understand what the fuck's happening.
Yeah.
You know, though, you gotta trick gamers into watching stuff because they won't otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, how do you think they got them all to fucking watch Alita Battle Angel? They told them that it wasn't woke nonsense, and then they all went to go see that piece of shit.
And it was woke nonsense. Fucking got tricked.
What movies are woke nonsense? Sincerely, like,
What
is
movies
it
aren't or are?
are?
Oh, I mean, all of them. You know, Hollywood. They're all woke. Except for the Daily Wire movies. Those are fantastic. Ben Shapiro makes the best fucking movies.
I don't think that's the truth, Andrew.
No, I'm speaking truth to power right now.
Ben Shapiro's never taken out student loans or any loans of any kind.
Well, and if he did, he would never have them forgiven. He would always pay them back because when you take out a loan, you pay it back.
Yeah, the fact that Biden's just embracing socialism this way.
It's unreal. Socialism is when you're in debt and the government helps you pay a loan.
You know who the real Dark Witch Queen is? Joe Biden.
Dark Brandon.
Wait, what? What if there was like a fucking like version of the Magic Flute made by conservatives where they made Hillary Clinton the Witch Queen and then they made Donald Trump the like sun god because he's, you know.
Yeah, that is brilliant. And it's like the exact type of thing they would do because, and then it'd be awful and it'd be performed horribly, but they'd be like,
Not
"Oh,
a
we're
single
so
person
cultured
could sing their
'cause
roles."
Opera, because opera.
This is how it really happened.
Well, conservatives are incapable of doing real art, so it wouldn't actually happen. But their worldview prevents them from actually putting effort into anything artistic. So,
I disagree. When Clint Eastwood put a chair in front of him and pretended it was Obama, that was real art, in my opinion. And possibly one of the funniest things a conservative has ever done. On that note, what is your overall thoughts on the Magic Flute and your cheese rating? Andrew, why don't you start?
the Magic Flute is old as fuck, and it sounds good, and the singing is hard. I can't sing the songs. Can you sing the songs? I don't think so. So, it's good to listen to. I don't fucking know what's happening, though. Maybe find a version in English that doesn't take place in a hotel. I don't fucking know. But listen to Der Hall Rasch Coat in Myman Herzl. That's a really good song.
Andrew, I think you should have put that through a translator and then made sure that you pronounced it correctly before jumping on this podcast. Honestly, you are just so unprofessional, and this podcast
Jess.
makes me cringe.
Hell's vengeance boils in my heart.
Mine too.
I was trying to figure out a good cheese rating. I stumbled across an article of Swiss scientists playing music to cheese. What the fuck?
Please explain this, because I saw this too.
It didn't even help me find a cheese rating, but
I
they
picked like
just
the
have
specific cheese they used.
it's Swiss cheese. So they took Swiss cheese and they played different types of music to it, including the Magic Flute, which I assume they probably just played the Queen of the Night song over and over again. Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven, and a hip hop, a Tribe Called Quest jazz. We've got a hip hop one. So and they listened to these. The cheese listened to these for 24 hours, just looping endlessly. And I don't even understand what they were trying to prove.
That playing different types of music for cheese to listen to would change the taste. And they said that hip hop music had the most change in taste to the cheese.
Okay, so
is
I
this
guess
where the Swiss
Mozart
government's money is going?
Yeah, this is like they've already completed everything else, so they're like, well, let's see what music tastes like.
We gotta spend that Nazi money somehow.
So I guess I'm gonna give it Swiss cheese that has listened to the Magic Flute for 24 hours on a loop.
Because that is a real thing. Wild enough. It's a true thing that has happened.
You know what? We couldn't make that shit up. We couldn't just pull that out of our ass. All right, Bree, what about you? What's your overall thoughts on our discussion and your cheese rating?
Your discussion made my head spin. Typically, I can follow along pretty well, but today I was like, what the fuck is going on in this musical? I looked up a synopsis of it, still kind of didn't understand.
Was it
sounds like there's...
Was it like by Jeeves, where we tried really hard to explain that plot to you and just wasn't sticking?
Yeah, it was like, that was probably the last time I felt like this on this podcast, was like, what the hell are they even talking about? So if I was to watch a version, it would probably be the Mario version, because that would probably keep my interest the longest. And I'm going to give
Mario singing.
Exactly.
Man, I'm bored, but look at Mario go.
I'm going to give this what I think is pronounced Schardinger. Schardinger. I can't say it. Mozart cheese.
You should really have someone translate that for you before you say it on the podcast, because really it makes you look unprofessional and gross. And you should think twice.
Mozart cheese. Okay, it's Mozart cheese. 50%.
These people think we are the Joe Rogan podcast. We got no budget for this shit.
We literally listened to the show 4 hours ago.
Mozart cheese. Mozart cheese.
10 out of 10. I like this show a lot. I watched a lot of versions of it, though. It's probably ingrained into my brain what this plot is, because I spent a lot of time trying to figure it out. It isn't the easiest thing to follow, but I don't think at the end of the day it matters, because the score is really good. I will probably re-listen to the show quite often. It's good background music. If I recommend any version, I will recommend the Julie Taymor version, because that's in English. But I prefer Stephen Fry's translation of the lyrics for the Kenneth Branagh film adaptation. And the Kenneth Branagh film adaptation is just one of those, a guy that knows how to shoot a musical number. Let's just say that. Kenneth Branagh knows how to shoot a musical number and just embrace how weird it is. And I really appreciated that. And I know no one gives a shit, but that film was shot for BBC television in 2005, released in 2006. It did not get a physical release until 2013. I don't know why
Dang.
that's so wild to me, but it's fucked up. But my cheese rating is a Greek delicacy called a cheese flute, where it's like these cannolis with cheese in it, and you dip into beer cheese. So you take cheese and you put more cheese on it. Yo, dog, I heard you like cheese, so I took your cheese and put cheese into your cheese. Are those yo, dog
flute.
jokes still good? And a flute.
No. Can I just read something off of the Wikipedia for Magic Flute? Just
Of course.
really quickly, just to cover our ass a little bit. Because, I think people are going to be upset that we didn't understand what was happening very well, or we didn't explain it properly or whatever.
I'm sure we are. I can't wait for the comments already.
This is from the Wikipedia page for the libretto of the Magic Flute. It is not uncommon for critics to describe the libretto of the Magic Flute as being of dreadful quality. The libretto has been generally regarded as one of the most absurd specimens of that form of literature in which absurdity is regarded as a matter of course. So I think what they're trying to say is it doesn't usually make that much sense.
So we just justified our entire episode. And you know what else justifies our entire episode, Andrew?
What?
Our wonderful patrons. Thank you guys for listening. Please follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, at Musicals with Cheese. We're on Twitter at Cheesy Musicals, Patreon Musicals with Cheese, Instagram Musicals with Cheese. We have a YouTube page at Musicals with Cheese. We have a Patreon-only podcast called Patreon with Cheese. Shoot us an email at musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com. We will read it on the podcast, as seen in our mid-show. Our keeper of the cheese is the one Juliet Antonio. You are the fucking bomb, Juliet. We're lucky to have you.
Woo!
This show is produced by the wonderful, the incredible, one of my best friends, and tomorrow is her birthday, so whenever you're listening to this, just send her a random message saying it's happy birthday, Brianna Jones!
27, guys. 27.
Happy birthday to you. I'm going full Skylar White on you.
That was an uncomfortable scene.
Which one?
We're not talking about Breaking Bad, though, now.
Not here. We save that for Patreon.
Only for Patreon. If you want to hear our Breaking Bad stuff,
God.
it's all contained in Camp Rock 2.
Okay, I do want to say I was going to bring up Breaking Bad for a Goofy movie because every character in a Goofy movie has a Breaking Bad parallel. Pete is obviously Hank, Goofy is Walter White, Jesse Pinkman is Max, PJ is obviously Badger, and then you also have Roxanne, who is Jane, and yeah, there's like so many parallels, and I just imagine that being the Breaking Bad characters now. I want a Breaking Bad remake with the cast of a Goofy movie. Gus
Jess,
is obviously Mickey Mouse.
We can't do this, Jess. We can't do it.
You can see it though, right?
I don't want to do it, Jess. We already
can
did
see
it with
it.
Camp Rock. We already had Walter White win the final jam, okay? We can't go any further than that.
That is one of our funniest, most absurd commentaries, and no one will fucking listen to it because it takes so long for us to just give up and just do Breaking Bad shtick for the rest of the fucking recording.
We literally just stopped caring at all. Just like, nobody gives a fuck about this movie.
We
After
just
they
did a whole bit about Breaking Bad and Walter White joining the final jam and Jesse finding out it's rigged. It was such a good time.
It was rigged the whole time. Gus Fring was always
Oh
going
my
to win.
god. So I should have joined.
You really should have, Brie. You really sincerely should have. We had nothing to say about Camp Rock 2.
Camp Rock.
I mean, except for that they killed that dude.
Yes, there is a character they set up and they just kill and he never shows up again.
Literally, they set him up and then a tire falls off a bus and like rolls down a cliff. It shows him running after the tire, and that's the last shot of him, and then the bus falls down the cliff.
Along with the tire, so he died.
Yeah, so it's only, I feel like the only assumption you can make, because you never see him again after that, is the bus crushed him.
Cinematic language dictates he is a dead person now.
He's literally dead.
Listen to our Camp Rock 2 commentary over at Patreon, guys. Thank you to the Broadway Podcast Network for having us on the platform and for not kicking us off for talking too much about Breaking Bad. Our theme songs were created by the amazing Robin Nash of IOU Music UK. Thank you, Robin. And please commission her. She does really good work. All right. Anything else we got to say before we wrap this up?
I don't understand opera, and I don't think I ever will.
Well, we got a lot more to cover, sadly. I know there's a couple others that we have commissioned by patrons.
Well, hopefully they make more sense than the magic flute.
I will say that I think that 2022 for Musicals with Cheese is going to be the year of movie musicals and operas. At least we're differentiating ourselves from our previous. Like, we're moving on. We're not just going to do Sondheim all year.
It's operas with cheese, baby.
Do you think we'll do anything ever important enough to be shot into space, like the Queen's aria in this? That was shot
Hopefully
into
my
space
corpse.
for the. All right, we'll see you next time on Musicals with Cheese.
It just sounds like you're laughing maniacally. This is Doug Walker's rendition of it.